Stop whatever you're doing for a moment, because what I'm about to say can completely change your life, or you can ignore it and still be in the exact same place 10 years from now. 3 days ago, I watched a man spend 20 full minutes explaining himself to someone who clearly had no respect for him. He kept trying to make the other person understand him, giving his time and energy to someone who didn't even value it. Men like that are everywhere. Maybe you've seen them. Maybe you are one of them. Maybe some of these stories sound a little too familiar. Maybe you're tired of being ignored, overlooked, and treated like you're not important. The truth is, you weren't born without confidence. You were trained to doubt yourself. You were programmed that way. You were trained to be predictable. Conditioned to be easy to control. Taught to be manageable. But 500 years ago, one man discovered the real rules of power. Not the soft, pretty rules society likes to preach. The real principles that control strength, influence, and success. His name was Machiavelli, and he wrote what many consider the guidebook to becoming unstoppable. I'm talking about becoming the kind of man who walks into a room and people immediately notice. The kind of man who speaks once and everyone pays attention. The kind of man who sets a boundary and people respect it, no questions asked. I'm talking about becoming someone who cannot be easily intimidated, manipulated, or controlled. A man who commands respect naturally. A man who operates on a completely different level and plays by a different set of rules. In the next few minutes, I'm going to share 8 principles that can change you from someone who gets ignored into someone who gets recognized. From someone who asks for respect into someone who naturally receives it. From someone who just hopes things work out into someone who prepares to win. But here's the warning. Once you see these truths, you can't unsee them. Once you understand how influence really works, you can't go back to being naive. And once you become unstoppable, you can't return to being stoppable. Right now, I want you to say this in the comments. I refuse to be held back. I refuse to be stopped. Are you ready to become unstoppable? Number 1, transform your inner self. Inside you right now, there are 2 versions of you. One is unsure, always apologizing, always looking for approval. The other is confident, calm, and naturally respected. Every single day, you feed one and starve the other. Every decision you make makes one stronger and the other weaker. Starting today, we're going to starve the uncertain version and feed the confident one. Your uncertain self is the version you were taught to become. It's the voice that tells you to just be nice even when someone disrespects you. It's the voice that makes you say sorry when you didn't do anything wrong. It's the part of you that explains yourself to people who should actually be explaining themselves to you. And this programming started early in your life. Your parents wanted you to behave. Your teachers wanted you to obey. Society wanted you to be easy to manage. But manageable men don't build empires. Manageable men get ignored. They get replaced. They get forgotten. Your uncertain self has been making your decisions for years. It's why you accept disrespect. It's why you give endless chances. It's why you put everyone else first and leave yourself last. It's even why you're watching this video instead of fully living the life you really want. Here's what your uncertain self doesn't want you to realize: every time you're nice to someone who doesn't deserve it, you're being unfair to yourself. Every time you allow someone to cross your boundaries, you're teaching them that your boundaries don't mean anything. Machiavelli once said, "He who is not master of himself will always be a servant of others." And that's the truth. Your uncertain self and your confident self speak 2 completely different languages. You need to learn how to tell them apart. The uncertain self says, "I don't want to hurt their feelings." The confident self says, "I won't lower my standards." The uncertain self says, "Maybe I misunderstood." The confident self says, "I understood clearly, and I don't like what I saw." The uncertain self says, "I should give them another chance." The confident self says, "They already had their chance." Transforming your inner self is not about becoming aggressive. It's not about anger. It's about being strategic. When someone tests your boundaries, your uncertain self wants to explain and justify those boundaries. Your confident self simply enforces them. When someone disrespects you, your uncertain self wants to understand their reasons. Your confident self responds with consequences. When someone wastes your time, your uncertain self makes excuses for them. Your confident self protects time like it's gold. Start noticing which voice is controlling your choices. When you're about to apologize for something that wasn't your fault, that's your uncertain self. When you feel the need to explain yourself to someone who owes you an apology, that's your uncertain self looking for approval. Change it. Not with anger. Not with hate. But with a conscious decision. Choose strength instead of approval. Choose respect instead of being liked. Choose influence instead of popularity. Your uncertain self will fight back. It will remind you that some people might not like the new you. It will bring up the times you tried to be strong and struggled. It will whisper that being influential makes you a bad person. Let it resist. Let it complain. Let it slowly change. Because on the other side of that transformation is a man who doesn't apologize for taking up space. A man who doesn't over-explain himself to people who don't matter. A man who doesn't beg for respect because he naturally commands it. Starve the uncertain self. Feed the confident self. Choose influence. Say this in the comments. My uncertain self is transforming. My confident self is rising. Number 2, build the fortress mind. Your mind can either be your strongest weapon or your biggest weakness. Right now, it's probably full of noise. Every criticism feels personal. Every setback feels painful. Every challenge triggers an emotional reaction. That mental chaos is what keeps you stuck. Today, we're building something stronger, a fortress mind that nothing can easily break into. A fortress mind doesn't react emotionally to everything. It processes things strategically. When someone criticizes you, your fortress mind doesn't feel attacked. It collects information about that person's character. When someone disappoints you, your fortress mind doesn't act shocked. It simply sees confirmation of what it already suspected. Most men are controlled by their emotions. They get angry and make reckless choices. They get hurt and make weak choices. They get scared and avoid making choices at all. Their emotions drag them around like wild horses. But your fortress mind works differently. Emotions become signals, not commands. Anger tells you someone crossed a boundary. Pain shows you someone revealed who they truly are. Fear signals that you're about to grow. Stop taking everything personally. When someone treats you badly, they're not showing your value. They're revealing their character. When someone tries to manipulate you, they're not exposing your weakness. They're exposing their desperation. Machiavelli once said, "A wise man acts in the present, shaping the future." That's how your fortress mind operates. It expects challenges, not because it's negative, but because it's prepared. When you expect obstacles, disappointment becomes easier to handle. When you expect setbacks, success feels even better. Train yourself to see patterns, not just single events. The person who lied to you once. That's a pattern of unreliability. The friend who talks badly about others to you. They probably talk badly about you too. The person who disrespected you when they thought you wouldn't react. They'll do it again if you allow it. Your fortress mind treats everything as a lesson. Every conversation teaches you something about human nature. Every interaction shows you someone's priorities. Every conflict reveals who truly supports you. Practice emotional awareness. When you feel angry, pause and ask, what is this teaching me? When something hurts, analyze it. What pattern am I noticing? When something worries you, examine it. What am I really afraid of? Building a fortress mind doesn't mean you become cold or emotionless. It means you become strong enough that your emotions no longer control you. It means you feel everything, but nothing controls you. You will still feel emotions. You'll still experience anger, excitement, fear, and disappointment. The difference is this. Your feelings won't be in control anymore. They won't be the ones making your decisions. Logic will guide your choices. Strategy will direct your actions. And influence will shape your life. Most men have fragile minds. The moment pressure shows up, they crack. The moment things go wrong, they panic. But you're building something stronger. You're building a mindset that can survive any storm. So build your fortress. Strengthen it every day. Make it solid and unshakable. Because once your inner structure is strong, nothing outside of you can disturb who you really are. Drop this in the comments. My mind is a fortress. My thoughts are tools. Number 3, master the art of silence. The loudest man in the room is usually the most insecure one. He talks too much because he's nervous. He over-explains because he's unsure of himself. He argues because he needs validation from others. You're going to do the opposite. You're going to understand that silence is one of the strongest signs of confidence. When you stop explaining yourself all the time, something powerful happens. People begin to respect you more. They stop constantly questioning your choices. They stop testing your limits. They start treating you like someone who knows something they don't. And you do. You understand that your value doesn't depend on whether they understand you. You don't owe anyone a detailed explanation for your decisions. You don't have to justify your standards. You don't need to defend your boundaries. The moment you start over-explaining yourself to someone who is challenging you, you're quietly handing them authority over you. Think about the most influential people you know. Do they constantly explain every move they make? Do they argue with everyone who questions them? Do they feel the need to justify every decision? No. They decide, and they move forward. They set boundaries, and they keep them. They speak, only when it matters. Machiavelli once said, "The lion does not need to roar to be respected." And that's true. Silence makes you mysterious. When people can't easily read you, they start assuming depth. They imagine you're more strategic than you even are. They believe you're planning something important. Without trying, you gain influence. But here's the key, when you do speak, your words must have impact. Because you don't talk all the time, people listen when you finally do. Because you don't waste words, your words carry weight. Because you don't over-explain, your voice becomes powerful. Start practicing strategic silence today. If someone accuses you unfairly, don't rush to defend yourself. Stay calm. Observe them. If someone demands answers you don't feel like giving, don't start explaining. Just say no. If someone tries to pull you into drama, don't participate. Walk away. Watch what happens. The person who is used to getting emotional reactions from you won't know how to respond. They might push harder at first. They might escalate to try to trigger you. But when they don't get the reaction they expected, they either calm down or reveal exactly who they are. Either way, you gain clarity. Your silence also protects you from regret. How many men have destroyed opportunities because they said too much? How many arguments could have ended earlier if someone stayed quiet? How many relationships could have survived if someone refused to react emotionally? The silent man avoids these traps. He speaks when speaking serves a purpose. He stays quiet when silence protects his position. He never gives his challengers extra words to twist against him. Let others fill the air with noise. You'll fill the room with presence. Let them waste energy talking. You'll save yours for action. Silent men are influential men. Not because they are scary. But because they are unpredictable, people can't easily read them. They can't guess their next move. They don't know what they're thinking. And that uncertainty creates respect. Let them wonder. Let them guess. Let them respect what they don't fully understand. Your silence is power. Use it wisely. Drop this in the comments. My silence speaks louder than their noise. Number 4, turn setbacks into strength. Here's a truth that will save you years of frustration: people will disappoint you. Your closest friend might choose their own benefit over your loyalty. A business partner might choose profit over integrity. Someone you trusted deeply might let you down when it matters most. This isn't negativity. It's realism. And when you accept this truth, disappointment stops shocking you. It becomes manageable because you expected human nature to show itself. Most men fall apart when they're disappointed. They believed unrealistic expectations. They assumed everyone had strong character. They trusted without observing. They confused kindness with loyalty. When reality hits, they feel betrayed and confused. They replay conversations in their minds. They search for signs they missed. They waste months trying to understand why. You won't do that. You will expect challenges and use them as fuel. Disappointment is information. It shows you who someone really is when pressure rises. It removes the mask. It exposes character. And every disappointment carries a gift: clarity. Before disappointment, you might have been unsure about someone. After it, you know exactly where they stand. Machiavelli once said that men are unpredictable and often driven by self-interest. A man who understands this isn't easily surprised. He builds plans assuming people will act in their own interest. He creates backup plans. He prepares for loyalty to fade. He never places his entire future in someone else's hands. But here's the deeper truth: disappointment often means you're rising. People rarely feel threatened by someone beneath them. They feel threatened by someone above them. They disappoint people who are progressing, who have value, who are becoming successful. Every disappointment can be a sign that you're becoming someone worth envying. So wear it with strength. When disappointment comes, and it will, respond like a strategist, not like a victim. Don't waste energy on emotional pain. Turn that energy into analysis. What did this teach you? What pattern did it reveal? What weakness in your system needs improvement? Sometimes the best response is distance. Quietly remove them from your life. No drama. No speeches. No second chances. Just done. Other times, the best response is patience. Take note of what happened. Remember it. Wait for the right moment. Move strategically. Let disappointment educate you. It will teach you who deserves trust. It will teach you who deserves caution. It will force you to rely on yourself instead of depending too heavily on others. A man who has faced betrayal and grown stronger is far more dangerous than a man who has never been tested. Disappointment graduates you from blind trust to strategic thinking. Most men let disappointment turn them bitter. You will let it make you wiser. When you've been let down and you're still standing. When you've been abandoned and you're still moving forward. When you've been disappointed and you're still rising. That's when you know you're becoming unstoppable. Number 5, silence your critics through excellence. Here's what insecure men do when criticized: they argue. They defend themselves endlessly. They explain. They try to prove the critic wrong. They waste valuable time trying to change minds that were never open in the first place. You're not going to do that. You're going to become so excellent that criticism loses its power. Your critics are not your biggest problem. Your reaction to them is. The moment you argue with a critic, you raise them to your level. You treat their opinion as worthy of debate. You give them importance. Stop giving bad faith criticism your energy. Stop acting like every opinion deserves your attention. Stop allowing people who haven't built anything to judge someone who is building everything. The real way to silence critics isn't by winning arguments. It's by winning in life. When your results start speaking louder than their complaints, their criticism begins to die before it even leaves their mouth. When your success makes their negative words look foolish, they slowly stop saying them. Machiavelli once said, "Let no one think that they can overcome fortune with complaints." Complaining never builds anything. Arguing never creates success. But excellence overwhelms everything. You can overpower criticism with undeniable results. You can suffocate doubt with consistency. You can silence gossip with visible progress. Shift your focus. Build instead of defend. Every minute you spend arguing with critics is a minute you're not using to improve. Every hour you waste explaining yourself is an hour you're not investing in growth. Let your work speak for you. Let your results answer questions. Let your progress silence the noise. When people see you winning again and again, something interesting happens. Their criticism starts changing into something else. Envy. And envy is often just respect hiding behind pride. The man who truly excels in his field doesn't waste time debating people who've never excelled at anything. The man building something powerful doesn't sit around arguing with people who've never built anything meaningful. The man who commands respect doesn't beg for it from those who've never commanded anything themselves. Your critics will always exist. There will always be someone who doesn't understand your methods, who questions your decisions, or who doubts your ability. That's not a problem to solve. It's a reality to accept. Use criticism as fuel, not as validation. When someone says you can't do something, let that fire push you forward. Prove them wrong through action, not conversation. When someone questions your approach, let your results answer them. When someone doubts your potential, let your achievements speak. The goal is not to convince everyone that you're right. The goal is to reach a level where arguing with you becomes pointless. Silence your critics with excellence. Build something so strong that criticism looks like jealousy. Achieve something so undeniable that doubt looks ridiculous. Stop debating people who are never going to respect you. Start excelling in areas where respect is earned through performance. Drop this in the comments. I silence critics with success, not arguments. Number 6, control your reputation. Every person you meet forms an opinion about you within seconds. That first impression shapes how they treat you, how much respect they give you, and how seriously they take you. Most men leave that to chance. You won't. You will treat your reputation like a strategic asset. Your reputation isn't just about your appearance. It's the energy you carry into a room. It's the feeling people get when you're around. It's what others say about you when you're not there. Start by talking less. Influential men don't feel the need to fill every silence. They don't over-explain every decision. They don't justify every move. When you speak less, people listen more. When you reveal less, people respect more. Mystery attracts attention. Don't share your entire life story in the first meeting. Don't explain your strategy to competitors. Don't reveal your future plans to people who haven't earned your trust. Keep people curious. Let them wonder. Your reputation should move ahead of you like a strong presence. People should sense your standards before they test them. They should feel your boundaries before crossing them. They should respect your capability before seeing it in action. Machiavelli once said that people judge more by what they see than by what they truly understand. That's human nature. Use it wisely. Control what they see. Your body language speaks before your mouth does. Stand like you belong wherever you are. Walk with direction, like you have somewhere important to be. Sit calmly, confidently, even if you're the quietest person in the room. How you react under pressure reveals who you really are. When chaos breaks out, stay calm. When others panic, stay steady. When people lose control, keep yours. Consistency builds trust. Be the same person when you're praised and when you're criticized. Be the same person when you're winning and when you're struggling. Be the same in private as you are in public. Let your actions slowly build your legend. If you need to distance yourself from someone, do it fully. If you need to stand firm, don't move. If you need to make a point, make it clear and unforgettable. But remember, competence matters. Be excellent at what you do. Be reliable when people depend on you. Be the solution when problems appear. Influence without skill is just noise. Don't let other people define you based on their limited perspective. Don't let past mistakes become your permanent label. Don't allow someone else's opinion to become your reality. You decide who you are. You decide what you stand for. You decide how you'll be remembered. Your reputation becomes your tool. Your presence becomes your shield. Your character becomes your greatest asset. Build it intentionally. Protect it fiercely. Use it strategically. Drop this in the comments. I control my reputation. My presence commands respect. Number 7, make excellence a discipline. Excellence isn't something you turn on when you feel motivated. It's not something you use only during important moments. Excellence is daily practice. Most men think excellence shows up in big moments. A major presentation, a confrontation, a breakthrough opportunity. But true excellence is built in quiet, invisible moments. It's how you get out of bed when you don't feel like it. It's how you handle small frustrations during the day. It's how you treat someone who can't benefit you in any way. It's what you do when nobody is watching. Those small, unseen choices shape your character. And your character shapes your destiny. Comfort is the enemy of excellence. The more comfortable you become, the more predictable you become. The more predictable you are, the easier you are to manage. And the easier you are to manage, the easier you are to overlook. The man who chooses comfort over growth chooses average over greatness. He chooses stagnation instead of progress. He chooses to stay where he is instead of becoming who he could be. Machiavelli once said that fortune favors the disciplined. Your daily disciplines turn into power over time. When you do what you promised yourself you would do, especially when you don't feel like it, you build self-trust. And self-trust creates deep confidence. When you keep your word to yourself, you become unstoppable internally. Set personal standards. When you know what you stand for, no one can pressure you to compromise. When you know what you won't accept, no one can push you around. When you define your non-negotiables, no one can negotiate you downward. Create disciplines that build strength. Wake up early, even when you want to sleep. Exercise, even when motivation is low. Handle the hardest task first, even when you want to delay it. Keep your promises, even when it's inconvenient. These aren't just habits. They are excellence in action. Every time you choose discipline instead of comfort, you grow stronger mentally. Every time you act despite not feeling like it, you prove that you control your life, not your emotions. Some people will say you're too intense. They'll tell you to relax, to slow down, to enjoy comfort. These same people may one day ask for help when their lack of discipline catches up with them. Let them choose easy. You choose effective. Let them chase temporary pleasure. You choose lasting strength. Let them pick comfort. You choose excellence. Make excellence your mindset. Make it your lifestyle. Make it your identity. Make strength something you practice every single day. Make discipline your personal ritual, something you protect and honor. Because life will test you. That's guaranteed. And when it does, the disciplined man rises to the challenge, while the comfortable man falls apart. This is the point where everything connects. This is where you move beyond average thinking and step into a level most men never reach. This is where you become unbreakable, unshakable, unstoppable. To be unstoppable doesn't mean life becomes easy. It means nothing outside of you can disturb what's inside of you. People may criticize you, but your confidence stays steady. They may disappoint you, but you're not shocked. They may challenge you, but you don't collapse. The unstoppable man achieves something rare: independence from other people's opinions, reactions, and approval. This isn't about being cold or heartless. It's about emotional intelligence at a higher level. You still care about people, but you don't depend on them to feel worthy. You still love, but you don't need love to feel complete. You still connect, but you don't rely on connection just to survive. Let them call you confident. Let them call you self-assured. Let them call you independent. Accept those labels calmly. Don't argue. Don't explain. When average minds can't understand your growth, they'll try to pull you back down to where they're comfortable. Don't go back. You don't live there anymore. Your influence now comes from self-mastery, not from controlling others. Your strength comes from discipline within, not validation from outside. Your victories come from excellence, not applause. Machiavelli once said, "He who conquers himself is the mightiest warrior." And that's what you've done. You've learned to master yourself. You become unstoppable through radical self-reliance. You don't need permission to be who you are. You don't need cooperation to build your future. You don't need approval to chase your goals. That doesn't mean you isolate yourself from the world. It means you become selective. You choose carefully who gets your time. You choose carefully who gets your energy. You choose carefully who gets access to your attention. You decide who deserves your investment. You decide who influences your decisions. The unstoppable man operates from abundance, not desperation. He has so many options that he's not clinging to any one outcome. He has so much internal strength that he doesn't depend on outside support to survive. His character is so solid that other people's opinions can't shake him. And when you reach this level, people will test you. They'll look for weaknesses. They'll try to push your buttons. They'll search for cracks in your foundation. Let them try. They'll exhaust themselves, because you've removed the cracks. You've transformed your uncertain self into a confident one. You've built a fortress mind. You've mastered silence. You've turned setbacks into fuel. You've learned not to display weakness carelessly. You've taken control of your reputation. You've made excellence part of your daily life. You've stepped beyond ordinary limits. You've become unstoppable. Your challengers will get tired trying to pull you down. Your critics will waste their breath trying to shame you. Your doubters will run out of energy trying to break you. And you'll keep rising. Because now, you can't be held back. You can't be broken. You can't be stopped. You started listening to this message as one version of yourself. You're finishing it as someone stronger. This shift, this mindset, will affect every area of your life. You now understand the pillars of unstoppable influence. You know how to remove uncertainty and build confidence. You know how to create a mind that cannot be easily shaken. You know how to use silence as a weapon of power. You know how to turn pain into motivation. You know how to guard your weakness. You know how to shape your reputation. You know how to practice excellence daily. This isn't just information. This is transformation. You are not the same man who pressed play. You've grown. You've awakened. You've stepped into influence. And the world will test you quickly. People will challenge your new boundaries. Your old habits will try to pull you back into comfort and doubt. Stand firm. You've come too far to go backward. You are no longer the man who gets talked down to. You are the man whose presence demands attention. You are no longer the man who begs for respect. You are the man who expects it, and receives it. You are no longer controlled by circumstances. You shape circumstances to fit your vision. The man hearing these final words is not the same man who heard the first ones. You've been strengthened. You've been sharpened. You've been made unstoppable. Your uncertain self is no longer in control. Your fortress mind is active. Your silence is intentional. Your setbacks are fuel. Your discipline is steady. Your reputation is strategic. Your excellence is daily. You cannot be held back because your influence goes beyond words. You cannot be broken because your strength comes from within. You cannot be stopped because the moment you chose growth over comfort, your victory was already decided. The world is waiting for you to claim your space in it. Stop asking for permission. Stop waiting for the perfect moment. Stop hoping someone will hand you what you can build yourself. You are unbreakable. You are unbending. You are unstoppable. Now go prove it. This is your moment. This is your influence. This is your time. Take it.